Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Online Biology Tutorials. In this video, I have taken few problems that are important from the board's perspective. So stay connected till the end because every question holds a special concept and it should be clarified with you. Okay. In the given question that has been taken, the question says which of the following options suits best on the given illustration. So if you look in for the illustration, that means they are talking about what? They are talking about lac operon concept. Here you can see that Z, Y and A, they are visible to you, which are the structural genes. O means operator, P means promoter, and here I gene will code for the repressor, and repressor has been shown as produced. Repressor here, it is binding to the operator, which is clearly noticed. That means in this case, there will be no transcription of the structural genes, no translation of the messenger RNA. So they are asking in the question, is lactose plus means present, minus means lactose absent, or it could be option C or D. So remember, whenever lactose is absent, or you can say it is not there, signified by minus sign, we will not have gene expression of the structural genes in this case, right? So the right answer to this question will be B. If inducer or lactose would have been there, then lactose binds to repressor and this will not bind to the operator, and in this case gene expression occurs. Okay, I hope this question is clear to you. If not, please replay and learn it. This is the second problem, students, that I have picked for you, and this is also from the lac operon but altogether a different concept. The question is asking inducible operon system usually occur in dash pathways, and if you go for various options, for A they have given anabolic, catabolic. First of all, you must know that lactose or any big compound, if it always breaks, like lactose is broken down to glucose and galactose, then all the pathways that includes this breakdown, they are always a part of catabolic pathway. Okay, catabolic pathway always includes the breakdown. And what is anabolic? Anabolic pathway is a one which always leads to the synthesis. Okay, so this term should be clearer to you. That means for the A option, inducible operon system usually occurs in dash pathways, as we have read lactose as a part of inducible operon. So it was very much catabolic, because once it will be broken, then only it will be used by E. coli. So in this case, the possibility of option A and option B is 100% ruled out, because we have found out that answer to A will be catabolic, right? Reading ahead, nutrient molecules serve as dash to stimulate production of the enzymes necessary for their breakdown. We very well know that lactose, if it is there, it always used to act as inducer. So that means for A we have got this one, for B we have got this one, and the other options are not at all matching at all. But let's discuss, because the question may come in any format. Genes for inducible operon are usually switched off, because in most of the cases what happens is lactose is generally not there. So when it is not there, then the structural genes Z, Y, A, they do not undergo transcription and translation. Okay, now moving on to the last fill-up, that is saying that repressor is synthesized in an active form. This is absolutely correct, because if lactose is absent in most of the cases, that means we don't require the proteins that are synthesized by ZYA. In this case, repressor will continuously be bound to the operator and there will be no synthesis of the structural genes. Okay, so we have found out that to this question, option C is our right answer. Students, this is a pedigree question which I have picked from chapter number 5, and it is saying if the maternal grandfather of the boy is hemophiliac, right? So they are talking about maternal grandfather, which in Hindi will be known as Nanu. So suppose this is the boy. This boy's parents, first of all, we need to draw their parents. So these are the parents. If they are talking about maternal grandfather, that means they are talking about the boy's mom's parent. Okay, so in this case we will be drawing the parents of his mom, and this says, so this maternal grandfather, suppose I'm using this sign here, so this is maternal grandfather and he is hemophiliac. Because he is hemophiliac, so we will be coloring it, and of course if a person is hemophiliac, his genotype will be XHY. Whereas maternal grandmother, that means here we are talking about maternal grandmother and she is the maternal grandmother or nani. So she is normal, so her genotype would be XX. Father is normal, so here they are talking about boy's father. He is normal. And then what are the chances that he could have hemophilia disease? Means they are asking about the boy, whether he could get the disease or not. Okay, so let's work out what would be the genotype of this female. Remember, this is a female and female receive one X chromosome always from the father. So that means this recessive allele carrying chromosome will definitely be going into this female. That means she is a carrier of hemophiliac. Now if you see here, the female, the boy's mother genotype is XXH and the father genotype is normal. So we will construct a Punnett square like this and we will write the gametes as we have already learned, and then we will find out the results. Okay, so these are the Punnett square results. What are they asking in the question? They are asking what are the chances he could have hemophilia disease. Means they are asking about this boy, whether he could suffer from hemophilia or not. Now in the Punnett square, you can see that there is only one affected individual and this is affected, right? So out of how many he is affected? So this is 25% probability, this is also 25%, this is also 25%, and this is also 25%. This will not be suffering from hemophilia because hemophilia is X-linked recessive disease. So women to be a sufferer of hemophilia, they should carry two recessive alleles. Here in this case only the boy will be the sufferer and probability is also seen in the Punnett square. So our right answer will become option A, that says 25%. This is a very interesting question and quite different too. Two images are being given to you, and if you go for the options, all the options are related to the ARTs or assisted reproductive technologies. So seeing an image, we need to guess which type of ART has been shown to you. There are two images, first of all P and Q. If you see P, they have a needle. On the needle at its top is sperm, and this sperm is coming towards egg. So here it is written egg. So you have learned there was only one ART that was described to you and its name was ICSI, means intracytoplasmic spermic injection. This was the only ART in which we talked about needle. right? And we talked about the direct transfer of the sperm into the egg cell. So through illustration, they are talking about what? They are talking about ISI. If you get a question like this, see, in the P options, we don't have anything same as ICSI. So this makes our option C as to be the direct answer. But let's look in for Q as well, because maybe you will get only Q in the exam. See here, ovary has been shown to you, which is here. Fertilized egg is seen here written, and fallopian tube, and some object is going inside the fallopian tube. So yes, this is absolutely correct. They are talking about ZIFT. Even if we could have talked about IUT, that could also have been valid in this case, because P is ICSI. That is why we have picked option C as to be the right answer. This is the next question. Which of the following is best suited for codominance? Both are recessive, both are dominant. One is recessive or one is dominant. Let's go back to the codominance case that was explained to you in NCERT using the AB blood group. If a person has AB blood group, then this condition comes in the codominance, and the genotype of the person will be written as IAIB. So see, in this case, A is also getting expressed, acting as dominant, and same is happening with B. It is also getting expressed, acting as dominant. So what can we conclude? We can conclude that both the alleles A and B, they are dominant. So in this case, our option B will be marked as the right answer. This is a question from chapter number 2, sexual reproduction in the flowering plants. In the question, it is given that if the endosperm of a dicot plant contains 30 chromosomes. So here the key term is endosperm and 30 chromosomes. We know that endosperm is triploid in nature, and while writing the ploidy level, we can also write it as 3n. It is equals to 30 chromosomes, so n will become 30 upon 3 is equals to 10. That means the haploid chromosome number for this plant would be 10. Now they are asking about the root cells. Now while applying the concept to the root cells, it should be clear to you that roots are diploid in nature. When we are saying that they are diploid in nature, then we can write them as 2n also. We know the value of n. So simply we will put the value of n here, which will be 10, and this will come as 20. So in this case, our option number C will be chosen as the right answer. This is altogether a different question from the reproduction chapter, from the chapter number 5 concept, because Turner syndromes are being taught to you in this only. So number of Barr bodies present in female with Turner syndrome. Remember, female, they have 2 X chromosome. So out of these 2, one generally remain suppressed. Okay, so how it remains suppressed? Because it forms the Barr body. Now the formula to calculate body is number of X chromosomes minus 1. So if the female is normal, that is why I am writing a normal female. In the normal female, the sex chromosomes will be XX. How many X chromosomes are there? 2. So we will do minus 1. So it will become 1. So this one is the case of Barr body in the normal female, right? I have explained you the concept that in normal female, the number of Barr body will be 1. See, in the question, they are asking for Turner syndrome. And we know that if a person is suffering from Turner syndrome, the chromosomes will be written as XO, means the sex chromosomes will be XO. XO means, O means absent. That means how many sex chromosomes are present? Only 1, right? So the formula to calculate Barr body, this we are going to apply on this sex chromosome. So number of sex chromosomes or X chromosome is only 1, And for calculating the bar body, we need to minus from -1 only. So answer will become 0. So this we can pick up as the right option. Let's take one important case here. Suppose if you are given the case of Klinefelter syndrome, and you know that if a person is suffering from Klinefelter syndrome, the sex chromosomes will be XXY. In this case, the number of sex chromosomes are 2. So we will deduct -1. So it will be 1. So number of bar bodies in Klinefelter syndrome and number of bar bodies in normal female, they are same. If suppose they have given you the case of super female or triple X, right? In this case, the number of X chromosomes are 3, and for bar body you need to do -1. So in this case, the number of bar bodies will become 2. I hope this was helpful. Let's move ahead with another question. This question is saying which of the following is found in both DNA and messenger RNA. So they are asking about the similarity between the messenger RNA and DNA. Double helical structure? No, it could not be the answer because DNA is double helical and messenger RNA is single stranded. So we will cut it. Let's move on to ribose. This is also incorrect because sugar in the case of DNA, it is deoxyribose, whereas in the case of RNA, it is only ribose. Sugar phosphate chain. So if you look in for the structure of DNA, these are the sugar phosphate chains which are there in the single strand that is running from 5 to 3 prime. Similarly, in the other strand also they will form the backbone. So sugar and phosphate, no doubt they are found in DNA. And if you are writing messenger RNA, you need to write in the same way. That means till now whatever options we are discussed with, option C has the maximum probability that this could be the right answer, but look in for option D as well, which is saying thymine, and this is absolutely wrong because thymine is found in DNA, and in place of thymine we have uracil in RNA. So 100% we have found out that option number C is the right answer to this question. This question has been taken from the sex determination topic, and they are asking about homogametic male. Remember, we studied various type of sex determination. It could be XX, XY, it could be XX, XO, it could be ZW, ZZ, ZO or ZZ. All the examples are to be learned by you for each type of sex determination. Talking here about homogametic males, they are asking plants. No, plants don't show like this. They are asking about birds. So if you see this example, ZW, ZZ, always I have written the chromosomes, sex chromosomes of female first and male later. So this ZW and ZZ is very much exhibited by birds, and peacock is an example to bird. That's why it will also fall in the same category. And you can see that males are homogametic, means they carry same type of sex chromosome. So in the third case, female is heterogametic, but males are homogametic. Thus, the answer to this question will become the B option, that is birds. Okay, let's talk about the case of insect here for revision. In the case of insect, this is present. That means female, they are homogametic, and males, they are heterogametic, and they just carry one chromosome. So suppose if they are saying in a question that some insect is found with the chromosome number 20 and female is showing 20 chromosome number and male are showing 19 chromosome number, right? Which type of sex determination is it? So you will choose this one. Or they may give you the chromosome number of 20 and 19 and they may ask you which of these insect is a male and which of these is a female. So remember, males, they will always have one chromosome less than the females, because this is how their sex determination is. Males, they are always heterogametic with just a chromosome, and females, they carry two sex chromosomes. Students, this was all in today's video. Stay connected to my channel for more such videos, and I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to share this among your friends. Thank you and wishing you all the best.